Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Kildyrel and today I'm going to be checking out the new Ashes of Creation update. Without any further ado, let's go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another glorious live stream day. I'm super excited to be with you guys, show you what we've been working on, and I have the absolute privilege of being joined by two of our stellar developers helping bring the world of Vera to life for all of us. One of our glorious designers, Mr. Corey. How are you doing, Corey?
I'm doing great. Super excited to be here.
Excited to have you here. I'm excited to go through with the community and get some awesome feedback on the changes that have happened since Alpha 1 last year to a lot of our resource systems, to the economy as a whole. And I know that you and the other designers have been working hard, looking at the feedback that players have given from recent games they played, and thinking about how, with further details along some of our systems like land management and how they've influenced some of these changes since Alpha 1. And we are also joined by one of our absolutely phenomenal senior gameplay engineers, Mr. Alex. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. Excited to be here.
Excited to have you as well, because of course the magic lives in the code. And you have done an awesome job in helping design bring to life the desires that they have for this system. And we're going to get into, I think, some fun discussion about what it took to make some of this stuff possible. So, as some of you out in the community may already be aware, this live stream, this demonstration is going to be about our gathering and harvesting systems. And, while we are hard at work in getting things ready for Alpha 2, there have been some significant changes in the direction of how we're approaching general harvestables within the world, and we want to be able to obviously show you guys that. I think right now we're recording this on Thursday, so this is pre-recorded. Tomorrow is a live stream day. I've asked the community team to prepare some of the older references from Alpha 1 and what gathering looked like there, and of course you guys knew that in development, we're always showing you guys works in progress, and those works in progress change over time. And now you guys are going to get an opportunity to see where it's at now. You likely just saw an example of where it was last year, and I think you are going to be pleasantly surprised and excited to see some of these changes. Where do you guys think we should start first? Alex, Corey?
The scene.
Well, I think we should lop down.
The scene looks like dope as fuck. My voice is really loud. Sorry, let me turn it down. The scene is amazing. Like, I love the look of all of this. Like, I really can't wait to see what this really looks like. I mean, we've seen, or at least I've seen what it looks like with a lot of players doing a raid and everything. I watched an Esmond Gold. He was doing one of the raids or something, and I think Steven, if it is this guy, he was just like following along and just like watching it all and everything. Like that must be so buzzy to just like those first initial moments where like people are playing your game and everything. Like, but damn, the work that they have put in. I'll say that New World as a game and everything is probably the best looking that's out right now. And I'm kind of comparing New World to this with like the look. I like this look a lot better. The colors of everything seem a lot more natural, and the lighting is just amazing. Oh my god. Plus all of this fog and everything, and like you're seeing all this like tessellation as well. It's quite overwhelming. Like, as someone who plays these kind of games, and I try to play these kind of games or try to learn enough to where I don't need to use my HUD. So I'm just imagining that, like, this game with no HUD, me playing the game, and it looks like this. This would be fucking amazing.
One of those trees.
I think so, though.
Okay, so my first question,
Trees.
Corey, do I have to pick a specific tree, or can I chop down any of these trees?
You can chop down any tree you want. Just pick one that you like and just take that lumber.
Oh my
Ooh.
goodness. All right. So that is probably
Um,
the first major reveal, is that
Holy shit, yeah.
in Ashes of Creation, we have now expanded the resource gathering system to include a great many of what the world is showing you of these resources. So when you see a tree, you can chop a tree. If you see a rock, you can mine a rock. And before we actually chop this tree down, I want to tell you that I have played a lot of MMOs. I've played a lot of games. And I don't think I have ever seen a tree fall to this high of a visual fidelity standard before.
Ooh,
And
okay.
let me just chop this down, and then we can talk about what it took to get here. All right? Does this tree look good? Should we chop this one down? How's the angle here? We're going to get a nice view from this angle? Okay, all right, let's just chop it.
I love the new UI.
Oh, I know.
I love them.
And the sound. Get ready. It's happening. Oh my gosh. Look at the dust kick
bounce?
up. Look at the canopy of the tree get impacted and when it falls. Wait. That's not all. As it dissolves, it comes back and it grows. And of course, we are speeding up this growth stage, right, Alex?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So we're speeding this up now to give you guys an idea of how these assets regrow in the world. And Alex, talk to me a little bit about what it took to get that physics-based collision actually working like that, because that was impressive.
Oh, let me just begin with the amount of visibility reviews we had to go through in order to achieve this.
I remember when I first talked to you about having the canopy get rigged and and actually have that physics component. I think your eyes grew like 50% wider.
Physics is a wild beast.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. That was a pretty good, like, detailed, like, just gathering. If that's like the detail we get from just gathering one thing.
It's very hard to tame,
Damn.
especially in MMOs.
Yeah, absolutely. So what
Can we
exactly
up
did
the
it take
mushrooms?
to make that canopy fold like that?
Well, yeah. Basically, what happens is when you chop down a tree,
See, this is exactly the reason why I like to try play my games with no HUD. Because I can get so invested and what you call it? What's it called? Oh my god, what happened to the extra screen? Because I can get so invested, but also the all of these. You see these button clickings, you see your health, you see your map. It's immersion breaking. Like immersion, I love immersion in video games and everything. That's why I like on certain times when playing Elden Ring, I switched to the no HUD. It's not just it is a challenge and everything, but like yeah, there becomes a moment when you play for so long that you forget that you're playing a game. I live for those. And so like this world with how detailed everything is, oh my god.
Swap out the static mesh which you see in front of you to a skeletal mesh, which then we simulate physics and apply force to the direction we want the tree to fall. And when the tree falls down, we have colliders on tree branches that impact the ground. And as that impacts the ground, it also impacts the stem of the tree and making this effect that you just saw.
It is
I mean,
crazy.
it looks great.
The amount of detail as well, like everything is running like pretty perfect. So I'm very confused. Like, what do our systems have to be to play this game? That being said, I do not mind any high grade kind of systems. I mean, I have a 3070 RTX and everything, but like, you know, if it required higher, I'm pretty sure I would like work my ass off to so that I can play.
Honestly, I mean, have you guys ever played an MMO with that type of tree visual falling?
No.
I don't know, not really.
Definitely not.
Usually it's just mostly
I would
animations,
notice.
or it just converts straight into lumber and then
No,
it just you
yeah.
know just drops.
Yeah, what I'm accustomed to is
It
like
drops.
just watching the branches kind of, you know, intersect through the ground, you know, after it falls, and then it just disappears. But of course, as you guys know, you know, in building Ashes, we're really aiming for a very high visual fidelity bar. And I think this type of system really complements that goal. It's incredibly immersive, and it feels good. Now, of course, this stuff is all a work in progress still, right? This is, this is going to land. Let's see that physics.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
This is where I was telling you about taming the physics.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that felt pretty good. Now, of course, you know, there's a lot that goes into
I saw that.
making. There's a lot that felt pretty.
Come on. You ain't that slick.
Now,
I saw that. Look at this. We're seeing water and it's being cut off by a thing. You know, it's okay. Like, this game is like fucking amazing. Let me just say that these guys have the work that they put in to this game. Holy shit. Like, chef's kiss, everything.
Of course, you know,
It's
there's a
funny. The
there's a
moment he
lot
notices
that
it,
goes
he
into
changes his camera.
into making a world that's filled
Or
with
at least I think,
this
I don't know,
amount
maybe he didn't
of resources that can be gathered. Corey, talk to me a little bit about what this change in really widening up the amount of resources and changing those classifications to general resources that are hard.
Can we somehow, if an enemy is there, like let's say there is a tree trunk, there is a bunch of trees on the edge of a cliff, and underneath the cliff is a monster. Let me cut the tree down, and instead of collecting the wood because it's outside of my field of gathering, like the auto gather, it crushes the monster below instead. Now that's a lot to handle and everything, but if they did something like that, oh my god, how does this game not get Game of the Year when it comes out?
Harvestable. What does that look like from an economy design perspective?
Well, I mean, it allows us to leverage some of our other systems. Like one of our previous live streams was about seasons, right? And the changes that could come from seasons,
Yes.
what could be growing, what could be dropping in this season versus another one, right? So
Oh,
the the change to have everything that you see gatherable kind of allows us to attach the changes that you see during the seasons to all the gatherables that you see. So the information that you learn from season to season and about each gatherable will be valuable to you as a gatherer.
that's
And
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
And
didn't
then
even think of that, but like, holy shit. Like, different things for different seasons. So, like, maybe you cut that tree down in winter and it doesn't come back as fast. Or I don't know. Maybe there might be a problem with that, actually, if they did something like that. But I don't know. The way how that sounds, how, like, things are being affected by the seasons as well. I like the direction of that. That sounds great.
the other thing is, when we talk about, like, for example, looking at this rock here, I don't know what that rock is before I actually complete the harvest. But after I complete the
Oh.
harvest, I see that I collected basalt in the bottom right-hand corner. Talk to me a little bit about kind of that decision and what that means.
yeah, totally. So there's a bunch of different things in ashes that are bee gatherable, right? We have plants and trees and rocks and fish and that animals and creatures that can be tamed, right? And um, you know, we're thinking to reach the visual fidelity bar and to have things a little bit more rooted in what we know.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
it
So
wouldn't
it's in the
really make
bottom
sense for you
right.
to just see gold all over the world the same way that you would like plants and trees. So we wanted to get feedback on what players think about some of the different gatherable types having
What's the currency called in this game? Is it gold?
kind of different things that you would have to know and expect from them. So rocks are a good example of this, where you can see a rock, but until you crack that thing open, you don't know if it's full of stone, crystals, rubies, gold.
Okay. I like that.
So we wanted to try that out with some of our gatherables to have players have to open this thing up, and that's not to say that we players won't stumble on a nice lode or vein or geode of gold. But most of the stuff that they would find in the world, unless they look hard enough, would require them to crack that stone open.
Right. And of course, there are additional systems, some that we haven't really gone into too much detail on, but as an example, surveying can play a key role in helping players to identify locations of rare resources within an area. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Talk to me a little bit about surveying.
Yeah, so surveying is a way that players can check out an area for resources. So players can learn where resources are that are static and that grow back in the same location. But we'll also have resources in ashes that can spawn anywhere. So surveying will help players locate those resources. So if they're looking for something specific, they can hunt them down. Surveying will also allow players to uncover hidden resources that players wouldn't be able to see with their naked eye.
Wait, what?
Another thing that surveying would provide is some of the information that we were talking about before, right? Like for instance, if you survey and inside of your survey area, there's plants. You might learn when that plant, what season that plant likes to grow in. You might learn whether it likes to be watered during the winter versus how it likes to be watered in the summer. You might learn.
I see that the interior of this rock now has ore in it.
Yeah, see, you found one with some iron. So not all those rocks are just slabs of basalt. You might find some iron, maybe some gold, maybe some copper. We'll see.
Oh, that is
Okay.
super cool. This one was also iron. Very nice.
Yeah, it looks like you found a little iron deposit there.
So
And
there is
so when
a
players
means to
interact with
identify.
the survey system, talk to me a little bit about what that interaction looks like. What exactly does the survey gameplay layer feel like?
Yeah, so
Oh, feel like.
you'd work with a surveying tool, and you set the surveying tool down, and that tool would have a specific area in which it's able to uncover and extract information about the resources that are in the area.
The secrets of the land.
So, as a starting out gatherer, you might end up with one of the tools, right? But as you progress and become more proficient with using the tool, you might be able to set up additional pylons and extend the area of your survey.
More pylons.
Yes, yes,
Sorry.
pylons. So, right, and so that allows you to start kind of making shapes and having more strategic areas that you're surveying, right? If you could connect multiple pylons to create a shape, maybe you could follow the
I like the look of it as well.
the twisting caverns of a cave. Maybe if you're out in the open like we are here, you could just try and make yourself a nice widened shape to scan as much of the area as possible. So it'll be up to the player to be tricky with their surveying tool to try and get the most efficiency out of their survey.
Okay, I would like to point out one thing, is that are these apple bushes? I'm collecting
Yes.
apples, and they're like from a bush.
They are from a bush.
That is awesome.
Hey, this is Vera.
I know. This
So
is Vera. There
apple
are apples
trees?
that grow on bushes. So the survey system, I think, is one that's really cool because it also all is a part of this kind of cohesive land management system, right? Is that resources spawn at a set rate, and that rate can be influenced by how other players are interfacing with the resource system within a given area. And if there is a high traffic and a high volume of interaction that is yielding these general resources or more specific and bespoke resources, then that can have a deleterious effect on the land management score of the area. And how does that affect the resource spawn?
Yeah, it could be positive or negative or both simultaneously. So the land health value, right, ties into the health of a specific ecosystem, and the ecosystem can kind of scale with different segment sizes of the world, or the world itself, a biome, maybe a node, maybe a player's freehold, and the things that a player does in those areas will contribute to health in a positive or negative way. So, doing something like rotating your crops might increase the health of the land because that's considered something good to do. And maybe apprehending or removing poachers that are overhunting a certain species could be helpful to the health of the land. Maybe the mayor puts out a request for players to try and get rid of invasive species that are plants. Maybe they're overgrowing weed, and it's stopping other valuable
weed?
plants from growing. Yes.
Nice.
And yeah, so every action would feed into a positive thing in one area for the health of the land, but it could also have repercussions in another, right? If you overhunt predators, the prey have no predators picking them off. So the spawn rates of those those rabbits that the wolves usually take care of could go up. And maybe if you overhunt the rabbits, the wolves want to find another place to go. So the ecosystem health and land health system allows us to really root players into the world and learn about their surroundings, learn about what repercussions their actions have, and work together to work within and manipulate that system.
How
Are you telling me
big?
if my land
Just like, really, how big are these servers? Like, because I've seen the battles and everything, like, they look crazy with the amount of people that are, like, in the raids alone. And yet, Yeah, like damn.
Management
Man.
is poor, and I cut down all the trees. My land would just be barren for like
In the
long
thinking
periods
of
of
all
time.
of this,
Oof.
ooh,
Yeah,
I
it
love
could
this snow.
definitely extend the amount of time that it would take for what you want to grow back.
Okay,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
you can still
That is
see the
pretty cool.
road.
And
I like
that
that.
is another component of how player activity or actions within the world have a visible and systemic effect on that world's economy. And that helps to simulate the ebb and flow of supply chains, of the prevalence in the locality of certain resources being depleted, and having extended periods of time where the players go without that, and that can spur the need for transiting materials across the world, right?
Exactly.
That is pretty cool.
Transiting.
So you're saying I'm gonna have to travel to other nodes and steal their lumber?
Well, now that's a decision you need to make.
If you need any help with that,
Yes.
you can recruit me.
So I see here that we have a particular type of flower that I believe only spawns in winter. Is that right?
Yeah, totally. This is the gloomy pros, and it's a beautiful flower, but it can only be found in winter. So,
Oh,
the next,
I love the I love
Yeah.
the effect that that flower just got wrecked.
yeah, that sickle's doing work.
I know. Let me see if we can watch that flower regrow here. Does it regrow? Flower,
Of course.
Yeah, it definitely should.
are you coming back, little flower? Oh, there it is. We found it. Oh, and it's in a bulb state. I can't interact with it yet. That is so cool.
It's not
Ooh,
ready. You
I like
want the
that.
petals, so.
Oh yeah, and then actually to add to this, each state has its own physics profile. Like you saw trees, like you saw the flowers right here, and some profiles might not have any collision, and some might have. So for example, as for trees, sapling stage requires no collision, but the young stage will have a collision which you no longer can go through.
Oh, that is pretty cool. Now, Slurpee, Slurpee is his gamer tag. Alex, talk to me a little bit about what you had to do to kind of make all of this performant, right? When you're creating an environment with so many of these terrain actors, these foliage actors being interactable, that can have some potential performance issues. How did you go about addressing that?
Yeah, you're correct. This is a very difficult task, and luckily for us, Unreal 4 and Unreal 5 provide tools for environment artists called Foliage tool, where you can just paint like trees, paint flowers, paint rocks, like everything you see, and it's very, very performant because artists paint thousands of them, right? And to make the world very immersive, to make world believable. So what we've done is we basically used the same system and introduced a few states. And the main point of that was to make it as seamless as possible for environment art to place those assets in the world, and design being able to modify those data points to make it transition between states.
That's pretty cool. And obviously, when you have potentially hundreds of different players that might be within close proximity
Oh my
as
god.
you, and
I
they're
love this
all in this
snow
environment interacting with
and
those
these golden rays from
different
the sun.
elements of the terrain, those different resources and gatherables, this is a nice way for
Do we
us to
have
ensure that
Do we have a night cycle in this game? I really hope we do.
performance is still good.
Correct. I think the biggest thing would be here also networking, is being able to have as less data as possible to send to the clients, so it's more performant on the server.
That's cool. One other thing I want to talk about is you will see here, and I want to show you guys this, that when you chop down this tree, previously you had seen it kick up dust that was relevant for the season and the area.
Oh, so
and
snow?
now what happens when we chop this tree down in winter? Let us see.
I hope it doesn't hit the deer.
Oh, that would be unfortunate. I also hope it doesn't hit. Okay, we're good. We're good. You're good, deer. Don't you worry. It kicks up snow. What is that? Is that a sandal? Is that a sandal scarecrow?
Looks like it.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
sandal scarecrow. Oh, and we're in the face.
I think there was a collision of the skeleton mesh that you're encountering.
That was cool. This is awesome. Oh, I love that. That is so cool. Little sandal scarecrow. Oh, and it's growing back. Yeah, that is super cool. So there are really two main points of player feedback from this demonstration that I want you guys in the community to think about when you are talking about what you saw today. The first one is, how do you guys feel about the change that is incorporating a much higher amount of gatherable gatherables in the environment, right? Now, obviously, like I said, these are general resources that are primarily geared towards construction and development of nodes, the transit of materials across the world through caravans, repairs, and then they are general resources that are used in a much more foundational way of creating higher tier mats that then get used in recipes as well. But how do you guys feel about that broadening of the resources available out in the wild? And then the second thing that we want to get feedback on, what was the second thing we wanted to get feedback on?
The visual fidelity that we're trying to reach.
Oh, right. Yes, the visual fidelity. How do you guys feel about the visual fidelity
Visuals
of
look
these
good.
trees and the rocks that are... Oh my gosh, this one is going to take a while. Get ready for
It's a
it.
big tree.
It's a...
Timber!
Timber! Oh my gosh. Now, of course, there are some things that you guys are not seeing here because they're not yet implemented. But professions will, of course, introduce layers of accessibility based on the type of resource, the size of particular resources. Isn't that right, Corey?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, your progression within the profession will take account what tools you can use. There might even be some opportunity to do some gathering with other players. Typically in other games that I've played, you usually do the gathering alone. You're venturing around alone, and we wanted to take a look at maybe having a friend help you with a true person saw on a larger tree.
Oh.
Maybe there's some panning that you could do as opposed to just hitting ore with a pickaxe. So we'll have other tools that are part of that progression path, and then other activities that players can do if they would like to gather together.
That is pretty cool.
I like
And then
the sound of that.
on top of that, progression within your profession can also speed up the gathering times that you have. And another important note is that, like, as these resources reach different stages of their maturity in coming back, right? You see that plant kind of growing back. You could potentially access the resources at earlier stages as well by having high advancement within a certain profession. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. The speed, the time at which you're able to access them, maybe the amount that the thing yields, will all kind of tie into your expertise at that individual gathering profession, and also the things that you're using to do the gathering.
Oh,
Right.
can I highlight one additional thing?
Yeah. of course.
I love the new UI for interaction.
Yeah, thank
Oh.
you so much to Colby and Natalie and Jeff and all the UI team. And I would take this opportunity to thank engineering and art at TechArt too. Like, Stephen had mentioned that we came with the crazy idea of reaching this visual fidelity bar, and being a gathering player myself, like, I spend a whole lot of time exploring the world and doing gathering. And it means a whole lot to me that it looks good, that it feels good and roots me in the world, right? When players spend hundreds or thousands of hours exploring around, and each time they interact with these things over and over again, they just disappear, or there's not the level of touch that we're trying to put on here. It doesn't feel quite right. So the fact that everyone kind of rallied together to offer something like this, like,
Absolutely.
it just makes me super excited to play the game. I want to play the game.
I know. We all want to play the game.
Let us in, Steven.
Let us
Let us in.
Let us in.
You guys are in the guts of it. Come on now. Okay. There is one other thing I want to talk about is also how you guys feel about the interaction of surveying with revealing resources within the world. And without that element, for example, what we showed you today with mining, you may not know what you're going to get until you complete that harvesting action. How are you guys feeling about that? We think that it creates an interesting dynamic between utilizing resources necessary to initiate that surveying sequence.
I like it. It stops
and what it
people
represents for players as they
hunting for
choose to spend their
specific
time and or
like,
the meaningful choice they might make in moving to a particular area based on what resources are available in that location and discovering that through the surveying system. That's another point of feedback that we want to collect from you guys. So with that being said, are there anything else that you guys want to chat about before we close off?
I think we covered it all. Just thanks for including me in the chat. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Can't wait to hear everyone's feedback. Super excited.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
This was lots of fun. Thank you for inviting us.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch players interact with the new gathering systems as people get to see how surveying and land management accompany player actions within the world. So with that being said, guys, we did want to give you this update on where gathering has come to now, both from a visual bar as well as give a little bit of insight to the new systems like surveying and land management. And we want you to chew on that. We want you to think about that and give us your feedback both in the YouTube video, on Twitch, on our forums, on Discord, all the places. We, of course, appreciate that, and it is a very important step in bringing you guys Alpha 2 and ultimately Ashes of Creation. So with that being said, thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you back on stream.
Bye-bye.
okay. You just pause it there and talk a little bit more. Okay. The survey system. I like that, because that, even though, they showed that, they were mentioning that you don't know what you get until you mine something, but I do like the fact that they also said that with the survey system, well, you kind of actually do know what you're mining, because different things for different places and all that kind of stuff. So that will cut down time for like a lot of people. It does, like in any other game and everything, certain things only stick around certain areas with like all the other MMOs and stuff. Like you can't find the casual butterfly everywhere. That was one thing in ESO that, like, I don't know, it seemed a little bit out of place. I could pick up a butterfly on the beach, but why is it I can pick up this exact same butterfly that I got from the beach in a place that's technically hell? It's like, shouldn't I have gotten a different butterfly? Shouldn't a different butterfly have been like there, a different kind of resource and everything? So I quite like that aspect of what they did show and what they are talking about. I really like that, actually. It's like, it's very branching, and yeah, like Like I can picture what they are talking about and everything, and it's just making my brain run with like a bunch of different ideas. I quite like it. I quite like it. I'm gonna comment after this video, obviously. But yeah, I will leave the link to this video in the description, and if I have time, in the comment section as well, in the pinned comment section as well. But anyway, that's gonna be me. I quite like all of this. The look of this, it looks amazing. Like, let me go back to the, because obviously this is me. I do wish there was a night looking system. As much as I love snow and everything, like snow in any game, and especially when it looks like this, man, this looks great. Like, holy shit. But even though, like, I like snow and everything, and the way how this looks, like, just the difference when it's summertime and everything as well, like, did they show fall? I'm unsure if they
Find
did.
another place
Is this
to go.
supposed to be fall?
The
Like the season of fall?
ecosystem
or
health and land health
are they only
system
showing
allows us
just,
to,
like,
to really
2
root
seasons
players
here
into
right
the
now,
world
and
and learn about their surroundings.
we will eventually play to see the other seasons and stuff? Like, I don't know. I quite like what I saw though. It looks amazing. And
Learn-
everything is
learn
like,
about what
yeah, everything looks really good. Oh, this looks like 4. I like. Okay. I wish we got to see fall a little bit more. Like that in between moment. I like that. I like it. One thing else that I also like about their updates and everything, that they keep showing this exact same area to us, so we don't get to see what the rest of the world looks like. I'm really thankful for that. That way, yeah, I don't know anything when it comes to when eventually I get to play the game. Like, I quite like that, because all I have seen is just this area. I mean, I've seen a little bit of a rating thing, but like, I wasn't paying too much attention. I was just looking at mechanics. Well, not mechanics, but like, yeah, performance. Because yeah, I just wanted to see, like, how the hell did they have so many players playing at the exact same time, man? Like, that was crazy. It's really good. Yeah, that's gonna be me though for this this reaction. And yeah, let them know like what you think about this, because it looks amazing. And once again, the link to this video will be in the description. And yeah, hopefully I can do the comment section as well, pinned comment. But that's me. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.